Pasha Pyro, YN7. Thank you for tuning. The replay. Alright, so this is gonna be the YN7. We're gonna hit this on the etymology and energy side. Thank you all for tuning. It's actually kind of connected with everything else on the channel, so go ahead and get your popcorn and kick back. I think you're gonna like this one. So, if you're not currently there at this moment, I think you might have. We've all been there at least at some moment in our life. We may know somebody that's feeling like that right now. And this video today is going to be a big eye-opener, a revelation, so to speak, for everybody, no matter what position you may think or feel that you are in currently. So, let's get to it, right? You see the title, basically. Have you ever felt like you never have enough money, right? Very simple statement. Like I said, I think we all been there or can relate to this. But the shocking part is that we may have less than 10 years until that whole concept is totally going to change. And what will it mean and how will it matter? We'll have to wait and see if it's possible. So, first of all, we got to address, right? Because see, YN7, we be talking about manifestations, right? Signs, like it says, we got to enhance intuition, so you can sleep better at night. Deep dreamer. All right? You want to let your spirit guides appear. You're going to give you some guidance, all that good stuff. Whether that's more money comes your way, or maybe you're just seeing rainbows. But the idea is to get you in sync with your desires and the universe. So first of all, let's identify what money is. Because I know a lot of people think they know. But let's take a look at what it really is. So money, originally 1250, was from moneta, if that's how you say that, which was mint, coinage, right? From moneta, which was, or if that's how you say that, which is the same, a cult title of the goddess Juno, in whose temple at Rome money was coined. Hence, any place used as a mint. So, I don't know how you view money. Like, is it the paper? Because some reports say that there hasn't been any money in circulation since the 30s. There's something called HJR 192, House Joint Resolution. But some people think that this pile of paper is money. Okay, so we're going to come back to this screen in a moment. Let's take a look at this. So what is a mint? So a mint. Oh, we're gonna get to some stuff here. Look, I got some stuff for you today. Because we got less than 10 years potentially before all this will make sense. You know what I mean? And the idea is for you to get started now. Solve the issue before the problem. Right? So let's take a look at this. What is a mint? Of course, you got the sweet smelling plant. We're not talking about that. But what we are looking at is the coin. Money. Place where money is coined. Okay? So, in theory, the equation is what is a coin? What is coinage, right? So here's where it gets interesting, because the coin in 1304, right, was originally a noun first. Okay? Then it became used as a verb, and then you had coinage pop up, which meant simply to coin. So coin was a wedge, right? And it said corner, stamp, piece of money. So a wedge. And then that made me wonder, well, what is a wedge, right? So basically, um, the mint is the coin, which is a wedge, a corner, a stamp, a piece of money. It says money again, right, for mint. And it says a place where money is coined. So a place where money is coined, which means to mint if it's used as a verb, being as though this is 1423, so both of them was out, the noun and the verb at that time, right? And you see that the figurative sense of to invent a new word or phrase, like you coined something, was in 1589. But, so what we're looking at here is the mint is a coin, money, or place where money is coined. So a place where money is minted. But if you go back to mint, it's coin, so it sends you in a loop. You see what I'm saying? So mint and coin is like basically saying it's where you make money. I know, duh, right? Be mint, this is where they make the money, but I mean, I'm tying in the word coin here, right? Okay. Because what is money? The money is mint, which is a place to make money, what we think is money, right? Coinage, which is to mint. You see where I'm going? So money is the place where you create. And money is something that you create or that is created. So if money is a place where you can make something, see down here I got the little factory, right? That's going to be what the factories look like in the future. And if money is something that's made or created, then basically all money is your creativity. It's your creations. It's what you doing in the kitchen. So what are you making for yourself? Because here's where it gets interesting. What is a wedge? Right? What is a wedge? See, this is, remember when we talk about on this channel where we're like, yeah, people be using slang and they think it's something cool, but it's really what the word really means? Watch this. So a wedge, 1250, was bread roll. So for all the people that's been saying they bout that bread, they bout that dough, you bout that wedge. You see what I'm saying? Give us this day our daily breads, right? Now, so what that really means is, if we go back to here, I need everybody to get out of them, and I'm great. This is the prerequisites for what we're getting ready to talk about. Okay, because see, here's what they doing. Here's what they doing. Watch this. See, I just searched some stuff and I was looking for, and this is one of the sites that came up, and let's just look over this real quick. So why you may never feel like you have enough money, right? So for many Americans, money by this guy did it, I guess. So for many Americans, money is associated with having peace of mind and is often placed as a top priority in their life. While this shouldn't necessarily be the case, The fear of not having enough money can lead to high levels of worry, stress, and anxiety. Not only can this be a catalyst for individual challenges and even stress-related health issues, money is often cited as a leading cause of relationship challenges and divorce. I don't even got. It's funny how you just say the one word. All right, so be married to yourself, right? So why does and your goals? See, I mean, be married to your goals, and then the relationship challenges you'll be easy to overcome. You know, but that's another topic. So why does money cause so many issues for so many people? The first reason is obvious. When individuals and families do not have sufficient income and resources to meet their necessities, it is understandable that this would cause a high level of stress and worry. In this case, developing a plan to work through cash flow challenges, debt reduction, and planning for the future. See, here's the thing. Cash flow, right? And let me tell you why that's important. Because while you're worried about money, not to say you, but while people are worried about money, you know what I mean? Like, even when I was quote unquote had no quote unquote money, I wasn't worried about money. I was sleeping on the floor and I wasn't worried about money. Because at that time in my life, because it was never about money for me. What it was about was the opportunity, the right moment. Things are changing. I'm in a transition. Like, the money itself wasn't the issue. It was when you are here doing something, right? And this is where people get caught up sometimes. Like, think about this. If you're at this level, when you study the billionaires, they go up and down. They know they go up and down. There's millionaires out there that lost it all and got millions back. It's some people that say you can't respect the person truly that's never lost everything and built it back from scratch again, because you will never really know what their character is made out of until they don't have. They've always just been successful and they climbed up to this plane and they just got there and they just, whatever, if they kept going or they just flatlined on that plane and they just been able to maintain, you don't know that person, right? They never been really tested with nothing. You don't know if that's all taken away from them. Are they going to be able to survive? Are they going to be able to make it? Can they change into a different industry? Can they change into a different craft? Can they go into a different way of doing it? Can they adapt? Are they flexible? Are they agile? Right? You don't know. So you got to be able to lose everything and get it back. Now, what I mean is this. You got to be able to know that if you've been doing something the wrong way, that if you change your life, that means you're going to have to give up this way of doing things to get over to here. And guess what? There may be a gap in between. And you might try to jump that gap. Woo! And you may fall a little short. And you may plunge. Boom! But then you're going to have to climb back up the rest of the way, but you're going to be on the other side. But what's at the bottom of that pit is you losing everything when you fall into it. You see what I'm saying? And if you just know, if you're focused on having what you think is money, right, then you're going to stay, you're going to stay on this side forever. You're going to stay over here doing the wrong shit forever because you don't want to, you're afraid of that plunge. You're afraid of the possibility of that plunge. Don't be afraid of the possibility of the plunge, because you're going to be able to climb back up on the other side. See, when you focus on the change, on getting to the other side, the actual change, see? When you focus on the change, cha-ching, the change. You see how that's in sync? When you focus on the change itself, you be like, woo, oh, shit, whoa, man, this is not, okay. And you don't even care about, hey, you just lost this, you just lost that, because you know it's getting ready to be replaced by everything you actually wanted instead of what you was fighting to keep. You got the wrong idea what money is, possibly. And if it's not you, you know somebody that do, go ahead and share this video with them, because we ready to get into it. And here's why. Because what they focused on is not money, it's currency. See, what you really focus on is currency. That's a flow or course. Remember we did the video saying, be like water, my friend. Bruce Lee. Current of a stream is currency. You see, the currency is the trade, the exchange itself. You was in the kitchen. See what I mean? You was in the kitchen like this. Right? And you made the bread. You made the bread. Right? Now, what you need to do is turn the bread, or what you want to do is turn the bread into something else. Now on the right hand side, you got all of this currency. That's what this really is. It's called currency. Y'all calling it money. Or a lot of people's calling it money. But this is currency. You see there, suggested by the sense of circulation of money. Not that it is money. The sense of circulation of money is first recorded in 1699, suggested by earlier meaning of circulation as a medium of exchange. That's why the currency represents debt. You don't have, when you pile up a bunch of dollars, you ain't got shit. Like, you don't got shit. Like, I'm tired of seeing people bragging or talking about or looking down on others because they got a stacks of paper. Because all that represents is debt. You holding debt. Representation of debt. Why that 7, it's not to say be shamed of that, but we ain't trying to hold it. You gotta put that in circulation, you gotta make it move, and what happens is, if you don't have no idea what to do with it, you hang on to it. So when you got a person that has $100 million in the bank, you see, like Warren Buffett, I don't know what his ratio is, but you don't hear about him being the billionaire that's got all a billion. He's just worth billions of dollars. You don't know him for being worth billions of dollars. You know him for having billions of dollars in the stock market, moving and circulating. He's not. I don't know what his ratio is, but I'm saying you don't know him for having money. You know him for moving it. I don't know what y'all used to flip back in the day. I don't know what y'all used to flip. I don't know if y'all ever flipped anything. Okay? But we was circulating. We ain't like the whole shit. You see this picture on the left? They not even talking money. The one lady in the front got bananas. The other dude got a book. They trading books for bananas. What's that, an oven, a microwave for the turkey? He got a cooked turkey, it looks like. And he like, I'll give you the turkey. Matter of fact, here, look, I'll give you the oven so you can keep making these turkeys because I might want another one next week. You see what I'm saying? Somebody back there got a computer screen. They got a lamp. They coming with stuff. And that's exchange. Now let's go back to the right. Currency is the sense of circulation of money. First recorded in 1699, suggested by earlier meaning in circulation as a medium of exchange in 1481. Now, let's go back to this. Cash flow. You see what I'm saying? Don't confuse money with currency. Because you may not have the cash flow. You may not have currency because you don't realize you're surrounded by money. There's money all around you. What do you mean, Pasha? I mean, get in your hold on. Let me get in your kitchen and make something. It's people making brownies. It's people baking cakes. It's people making candles. It's people making crack. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody needs to. Don't knock crack. I'm saying. It's terrible. It ruins people's lives. Yeah, so does alcohol. But y'all ain't stopping Hennessy from pumping. And it's a lot of people benefiting from the crack industry. You know what I mean? Where else can you get a $5 microwave? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta understand that just because it ain't for you. See, this world, it's a duality. This realm that we in. There's good, there's evil. They balance each other, right? So you can't drink Hennessy. You can't drink Cavassier. You can't drink Ace of Spades and then talk shit about crack or even sugar. You see what I'm saying? You can't do it. They're all drugs. Everything's a drug. But here, let's get back to what I'm saying here. Back in the day, if all you had was the land, you had to get some seeds. And the land became your kitchen. And you was out there like this. Like y'all gotta get. I mean, I just want to. We about the truth. Why that 7? You was out there in the field, like this, just planting seeds. Cause you was gonna help the earth produce produce. You was minting. That's coinage. So see, what I'm saying is, it don't matter if you gonna just farm or you in there really making biogenetics, you know what I mean? Or if you baking cakes, you surrounded by money. Look at this on the right. The place where you make money. You go to work, you say to make money, right? Just like you could be in your apartment there in the middle, looking at the Charlotte skyline out your window, making money on your laptop. You see what I mean? It's a place. Where is the place at? The internet is a big ass place. You know what I'm saying? You surrounded by money. Let's go back to this picture. Look at all the stuff they had in their hand there. It's a trade. That's why we can talk about stocks on this channel too, because it's energy too. This is a trade. It's an exchange. It has value that's perceived. Right? Now let's take a look at this. So don't confuse money with currency. You have all the money in the world just like everybody else. You have all the creative opportunity in the world just like everybody else. You have all the money in the world. That's from now on, if you've ever felt like you will never have enough money, I need you to understand you have all the money in the world. Although you may not have the cash flow. And that's what you got to work on. Which totally changes the perspective. Because it's not that you don't have the money, it's that you haven't converted it yet. So figure out how to convert it. Now let's get to this, right? But what you want to convert is up to you. Some people are converting their sweat, whether they're a laborer in the coal mine or they're a laborer on the NBA basketball court. They still a laborer. They're putting in labor. Some people glorify the coal miner. Some people glorify the NBA baller. They both laborers. You see what happens when you just look at the equation for what it really is? Things become so simple. That's why, what the fuck what do you up there watching sports 10 hours a week talking about you feel like you ain't got no money because you converting all you know is stats from the basketball court That's not even to say that's a bad thing. Find a way to convert your stats in your head into currency. Start you a YouTube channel on the internet talking about these stats in your head and grow that channel and become something with what you enjoy doing. You see how there's no wrong way to do this shit? You are surrounded by money. Convert that shit into cash flow. Get your capital. And when you get in that capital, you ain't gonna care who in the capital because they work for you, you don't work for them. Now let's get to this, because this is where it gets crazy. Alright? So, cash flow. However, for those that are fortunate enough to have enough, remember, this is all perspective. You have all the money in the world, and watch how this proves it to you. Right here. However, for those that are fortunate enough to have enough money to cover the necessities of life, many still do not feel confident in their ability to save enough for retirement. First of all, why are we talking about savings? Look, I'm gonna tell you how. This is why I don't have too many friends, because it's sometimes it's difficult for me to have a conversation without offending others. Because I'll tell people, I've told you all, I live check to check. And the people that don't understand me, they in their mind, they have a belief of what that means. They have a belief of what that means to them. Oh, well, he must be he must be living above his means, or he must be broke or something. He must be this, that, and he said he's living check to check. I don't know if I can hang with this dude, or if I should even, chicks. Oh my God, he living check to check. Yeah, because they don't know what that means, because they never ask you. See, they never ask you what it means to you. Because they too busy thinking about what it means to them, and so they can judge you. And that's great, because that separates the true from the fake. Or not even say they fake. The real from the unknowing. You see what I'm saying? Because in my mind, when you get into certain principles, right, there's this thing called waste. And if you're trying to be a successful business or operation, you want to manage your waste. You don't want to have too much waste, because the waste costs you. If you make something and you sell 50 of them a month, let's say 100 a month to keep the math easy, would it make sense for you to make 5,000 of them this month? You're going to need parts, inventory, etc., right? You're going to put your time and effort into making them. You're going to have labor involved, right? You're going to have parts, you're going to have labor, and you're going to have somewhere to store them, which is now space that you're paying for, etc., etc., etc. So if you only sell 100 a month and you make 5,000 a month, where are you going to be at the end of the year? You're going to be very wasteful, because you will have all this inventory that's not moving. And it's not to say it's not to say that's not how they used to do it back in the day, because you're gonna sell it eventually. You're ramping up, sales is climbing, so you just want to have stuff on stock, on shelves. That's cool. We understand the idea. Now, to maximize profits, you want to bring waste down in all ways possible. And I help a lot of businesses with this as part of brand strategy. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of what I do in life is so I can help you. That's what I enjoy the most, empowering others. Because that's going to take us all from here to here on average. And when I'm gone, if the world went from here to here, I don't care about relationships. If I help do this to this, like, you see what I'm saying? I'm not here for titles. I'm not here to say I stacked all this paper and ain't do nothing with it. Alright, so I want to see all y'all saying y'all live check to check in 2021. Because what that means is when you got coming in, you got somewhere for it to be, and you putting it to work in that arena for you, and you have little to nothing left over. Because if you have a goal to get to, any moment that you're not applying yourself to reach that goal is wasteful. So you can't be saying you want something and you're not trying to get it. Because that's why we'll split ways real quick. And they'll be like, yeah, Pasha don't come around no more, this, that, and that. Because I'm confused in how to help some people. And instead of wasting my time, I don't judge you. And this is not for anybody in particular. I'm just saying this is the type of person I am. I'm not going to judge people. I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to see if we can help each other. But I'm definitely going to keep helping myself because I got somewhere to get to. And I think everybody should have that mentality. So if you saying you trying to do this, that, and the other, put everything you got towards it. Put your real money where your mouth is. You see what I'm saying? And that's not saving. Saving is having a bunch of opportunity just sitting still stagnant. Holding on to it. For what? It could be doing some work for you. Even if you minimize the risk real low and find something really less riskful to do. Okay, the reward may not be as great, but it might bring you back just 5% more than what it had, and that's great. Have it doing something. You know, businesses make huge profits. Businesses take losses sometimes. The same business that winds up blowing up, if you look back in its history, it has some down periods. And if you feel like it's safer to wait 10 years while you save up some money instead of to take some risk, some educated, calculated risk to try and be a catalyst for it, then you can't be serious when you say tomorrow's never promised. Because you got a plan that's talking about what you're going to do 10 years from now. You are surrounded by money. Turn it into cash flow. Alright, let's get back to this. I got a little off track because I had to, that just, you know, it's always a perfect day. Somebody somewhere needed to hear that. Alright. So, however, for those fortunate enough to have, we'll say the mindset, the perspective, right? For those that are fortunate enough to have enough money to cover the necessities of life, many still do not feel confident in their ability to save enough for retirement. And that's another thing. We're going to talk about that. Plan for education costs, pay down liabilities, and generally maintain their lifestyle. There go that word, maintain. In fact, some researchers in this area have suggested that many people indicate that their measuring stick of what it means to be considered wealthy is generally some arbitrary level above their current wealth. And here's where I'm getting at. For example, according to a prior Washington Post survey, people who live in households making less than $50,000 said that an income of $200,000 would make you rich, while respondents with incomes between $50,000 and $100,000 stated that you'll need $260,000 to be rich. Finally, people making over $100,000 said they wouldn't feel rich unless they were making $500,000 or more per year. Where and when does it stop? It doesn't. It doesn't, because you get to a level, you get to the level, and if you're focused on what you think money is, you'll keep saying you need more of it, instead of knowing that you already have it all and just focusing on what you want to do with it. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you only want $100, then you're only going to recognize opportunities to make 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100. Because your end goal is $100, so you're only going to attract and manifest. What we talking about here? Manifestation signs, proving the law of attraction is working. So if you make your goal 100, you're only gonna attract but so much, plus or minus. If you make your goal 100 million, you're gonna recognize ways in the infinity of everything that's around you to start staircasing your way to the 100 million. This is why we talk about destinations here and not directions. Okay? Now let's look at this thing they call retirement, right? Because they said money and happiness, it's got some sort of tie together. So, want more, and what I want to key here is from the Motley Fool. So, want more money in retirement, retire at one of these 3 ages, right? Look at this. Retire at one of these 3 ages. How you gonna let somebody tell you when you should retire? I mean, think about that for a moment. Like, the government says, I hear people talking about this since I was in school, like in little school. You know what I mean? They're talking, when I retire, well, the government, is raising the retirement rate to, we ain't gonna be able to retire until we're 65. By the time I get there, it'll be 72. And it's like, you're 24 at the time, whatever it is. You're 30. You're the teacher or something. Whatever age you were at that time, you're really letting someone tell you to focus on 35 years from now. So, when that's the case, you're only going to make moves that's going to adhere to what you created the goal or the destination to be. This is why people I can't talk to everybody, and you can't talk to everybody either, because they're focusing on somebody giving them direction. We're going to promote you. We're going to graduate you from this institution, and you're going to go in the field. You're going to do great things, and you're going to be able to retire at 74. Congratulations. And then they, and they adhere to that. It's like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go out here. I'm supposed to do this. And then what happens is, this is why some people go and get the brand new BMW or or Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? And they spend $120,000 and their car payment is $1,400 a month. And there's, like I said earlier, another page. By the time you get the apartment and the house or whatever it is, and the Gucci and all that stuff, they stress the fuck out all the fucking time. This is why they angry. This is why they mad. All the fucking time. This is why they don't have no free time. This is why when you text them, they saying, "Can you make it a one line text, please?" Because they don't have fucking time to do what they want. They're too busy trying to get cash flow to pay for their liabilities so they can have them next month, which is where we're getting to. This is where the conversation is going. Because you've heard the statement like the rich own nothing. We're going to get to that in a moment. So, because you position, like, yeah, I got a Mercedes, but it's, I guess, about 16 years old now. You know, parts are cheap. I just keep it on the road. It's quality. They've always been over-engineered at that point in time. It's going to run. It's going to get me from point A to point B. And it was built for the Autobahn at that moment. So, like I said, it's over-engineered. You got a more robust part. So when you replace it, you're going to have more life than even some other cars. Because I didn't want the expense or the liability or the waste of owning something newer, more expensive at that time, while I was putting together my life to create opportunities. Just like we talk about in the stock market, you can't make moves if all of your cash or opportunity is leveraged into something else. You gotta wait for you to get out of that situation before you can get into the next one. So I spent my car when I got it cost 10 grand. I mean, for some that's still a lot. For others that's like I said, they went and bought some 120,000. Some people got 5 cars. And that's why they at work every day trying to get 10 hours of overtime a day, because they trying to pay for 5 cars plus everything else. You see what I'm saying? Now here's the thing. Let's get back to this. So they're saying these ages here, we're not even going to go into all this. I just want you to see 62, 67, 70. I feel like we playing bingo again, but the other bingo. This is Powerball numbers here, man. You see what I'm saying? So now you 20 years old, you 18 years old coming out of high school, and you got the world telling you, wait till you 70 before you start enjoying life. How do you think that sound to people? That sound like prison. That sound like a prison sentence. Why do you think they don't want to go to work? Because the same reason you didn't want to go to work. You ain't even start yet and it already feels like forever. Sandlot. Hashtag Sandlot. But you just let somebody tell you that's what you're supposed to do, and you trick yourself into thinking you're enjoying it. And you get these little... Anyway, so you get what I'm saying with that, right? But what the trick of all that is, and we've all been there for at least a moment. Even the most millionaires and billionaires have started with this in mind. And it may be that they had it in mind and then they thought about that. They used their creativity. Remember, part of that is creating, because they said that ain't for them. Go to school, get a job, no one couldn't be me. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the high school dropouts doing their thing. Shout out to the middle school dropouts doing their thing. Because they got in tune with the real world real quick, while many of us was still sitting there saying, having someone pat you on the back for regurgitating what the book said. They were out there practicing real life shit. This is why you can't judge people. They was already getting to the money while you was being told about its existence. How you gonna try to grow up and look down on them? What's wrong with you? So you're surrounded by money. Now here's what the issue is, and here's why I need your mindset to switch. Because right now, that person that bought the $120,000 car, making the $1,400 a month payments, or the whatever, or they feel like they better than you sometimes. Like, by the time I buy it, I ain't gonna feel like I'm better than nobody, because that's how I look now. That's how I've always been. We got the same opportunities. I'll try to help you understand what you may need to change or look at or think about, to act as a catalyst if that's where you want to get to. But if not, everybody don't want a Lamborghini. Some people will keep the 120,000 and go buy a Hyundai or a Toyota. That's on them. That's what they want. Go get what you want. But everything that you want is out there. You're surrounded by you have all the money in the world. Now here's what the issue is. I need you to think about. Okay? Because you could be making money in a way that makes you happy, and it'll never feel like you work for anybody else a day in your life. Because here's what's potentially coming. I was talking to someone, and this is how I decided to come up with this video for y'all today. I was talking to someone, and they were like, "Man, I own 200 acres." They said a fairly large amount. I'm not gonna be particular, but let's say they said 200 acres. I let you know when I'm being exactly truthful. I'm letting you know when it's a number that don't matter. It's the theatrics of the conversation. Okay, so the person that you know says, "Hey man, I own 200 acres and this, that, and the other," and they weren't being like "Oh, I'm better than you" person. That wasn't the conversation they had. But I mentioned this to them, and they were like, "That'll never happen." Well, that may be true. But if you know things about me, you know I've always set myself up to, or the whole thing has been in a position to get people to realize, don't focus on ownership, focus on utilization. You see, because when you focus on owning it, that means sometimes you acquire all the risk. Like, I'd be excited to invest in companies, even small businesses, even your business. Let me tell you what that means. Like, you could invest in, let's say, when everybody was going crazy about Neo. I mean, we YNet7, we did that. Big Boy Peps. Check out the videos. So here's what I'm getting at. Hold on, let's go back to this. See, they put the plant together. They built the plant. They did the blueprints. They did the R&D. They put all that together. They spent billions of dollars. They took on huge amounts of risk for me to be able to come in and make tens of grand off of them by supporting their business. So I don't own Neo. I own parts of Neo. See, it's the mint. What was the mint? What was the coin? Coin is piece of money. If Neo is money, a share in the stock of is a piece of the money. See? So Americans are investing in the United States. So here's the issue. What happens if private ownership goes away? You see, I know you got theories of why people are the whole pandemic. I know you got theories. I know you got connections of what you're thinking about it's going to mean and what it's going to be. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is how right you are. What if all this spirals into a situation, the economy collapses or continues to collapse, a bigger version of this stuff comes out, even more people it balloons further than what it already is. Well, if there's no currency because everything stopped, all the businesses and the economy stopped, if there's no cash flow, then how you or anybody else going to own anything? And here's how life could change in my city by the year 2030. So that's now 9 years away, right? So basically, this is what you need to consider. We're looking at the website of the World Economic Forum, and here's Schwab You'll own nothing and you'll be happy about it. Think about that for a moment. You will own nothing and you'll be happy about it. Because if ownership grows to astronomical levels of cost, it would become wasteful, extremely wasteful for you to own anything. Therefore, you would only really be wanting to rent or to have stock in or part ownership of, the privilege to use, etc. Right? So some people have read this blog as my utopia dream. It is not. It is a scenario showing where people could be heading for better or for worse. It says it wrote this piece to start a discussion about some of the pros and cons of the current technological development. You heard titles like universal basic income. You know the song Not Man Made was really telling you about automation and why you being so artificial. You know what I mean? But like we said, I like spending this time with you guys because you guys get it. And for the people that don't, you know, they really don't understand my songs because they don't know they don't know the words. They hear them, but they don't know them. So when the automation really comes into play and replaces the truck driver and replaces the Burger King staff and replaces you, there's not going to be no jobs left, period. You're going to be back to what can you do in your kitchen. Whether that kitchen for you is literally the kitchen, cooking up, or if that's your garage and you working on something, you're a crafts person, or you're in your basement minting whatever version of money it is that you create. When you can no longer go to work for companies because the companies have fully replaced you with robots, what are you going to be able to do for yourself so that you can be one of the people in the picture below me having something to exchange? A lot of people had their feelings of why, and you know, of course they're gonna judge you. So they judged me when I started this channel. They didn't understand why it was valuable. But if I help you alone, it was worth it. So let's get back to it. What are you going to be creating? And the reason why I push the logos for people and I take donations of $400 and $500 for something that really could be 4,000 or 5,000 or $1 million like Pepsi paid is because that's my investment into you being able to prepare for the future that you may or may not know anything else about. And then you still got people that try to shortchange you. Why? Because they don't understand that they're surrounded by money. And they need to go watch the other video on abundance so that they don't suffer from feeling like lack. Even when you don't have the cash flow, you're still surrounded by the money. Flip it. Alright, so look, let's check this out. So, when we are dealing with the future, it is not enough to work with reports. We should start discussions in many new ways. This is the intention with this piece, right? So, blah, 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 blah. See what I want to get to here. Excuse me. First, communication became digitized and free to everyone, right? So the environmental problems we see or seem far away. So in our city, we don't pay any rent because someone else is using our free space whenever we do not need it. My living room is used for business meetings when I am not there. Once in a while, I will choose to cook for myself. It is easy. The necessary kitchen equipment is delivered at my door within minutes. Since transport became free, we stopped having all those things stuffed into our home. Why keep a pasta maker and a crepe cooker crammed into our cupboards, when we can just order them when we need them? Now, listen to that. Remember we was talking about the kitchen, right? So this is why the hype about, oh, we need everything electric vehicles, we need drones, we need automated this, autonomous that. Because once that's fully implemented, you're not gonna need to keep nothing because they're gonna be able to send it to you in a few minutes. Automatically. Stay in the house. Be a Virgo in hermit mode. We'll bring it to you. Right? This is why you see them. Could this be why they are exercising DoorDash and whatever else, all these food delivery people, to start to get used to and trusting a new system? You no longer have to go to Popeyes to get that chicken sandwich. We're going to bring it to you. Right? So this also made the breakthrough of the circular economy easier when products are turned into services. You see everybody, we're studying stocks, and when we see a company says, oh, they're going to sell you something, and then they're going to keep billing you every month or year for the service or the subscription, we're like, oh, that's extra money being made. Yeah. When you can't buy the programs anymore, when you can't buy this anymore because now everything's on the cloud, you see, you locked in, right? You see the benefit, but at what cost of ownership? Go watch that video on cost of ownership. So, everything is designed for durability, repairability, and recyclability. The materials are flowing more quickly in our economy and can be transformed to new products pretty easily. Environmental problems seem far away since we only use clean energy and clean production methods. The air is clean, the water is clean, and nobody would dare to touch the protected areas of nature because they constitute such value to our well-being. In the cities, we have plenty of green space and plants and trees all over. I still do not understand why in the past we filled all free spots with the city with concrete. And honestly, I can speak for that. Like when you I'm from Delaware. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. Trivia spot for y'all. I'm actually from Wilmington, but I have Newcastle listed like on my Facebook page because I moved there when I was 7, and I felt like only the real people that really knew me knew that I'm from Wilmington, as far as the internet goes. So since we're sharing with each other, I'll give you that trivia. It might be worth some money to you one day. They'll be like, and for $500,000, the grand prize, what city was Pasha Parot born in? And you'll be able to say, boop, Wilmington, Delaware. You are correct. You are the witness. So, all right. So, coming down to Charlotte, though, right? And being from that area, Wilmington's a suburb of Philly, and spending a lot of time in Philly and Pennsylvania, and you're right there in New York sometimes, not as often as Philly though, etc., etc., etc. You're literally it is a concrete jungle. So when you come to Charlotte, it was very refreshing to see that there's trees and there and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely, it does give you a different vibe. It helps you connect with nature. Nature is very important to life. Um, so the death of shopping, right? Let's look at this. So shopping, I can't really remember what that is. For most of us, it has been turned into choosing things to use. Um, could this be why all the malls are closing down and they're saying it's an accident? Could it be? Let's just get you used to not having no malls. Sometimes I find this fun, and sometimes I just want the algorithm to do it for me. So now they don't even want to, they're at the point where they don't even shop no more, and they still want the. Remember what we talked about over here? When you're at 200,000, you want 260,000. When you're at that, you need 500,000, right? So now they don't even got to shop no more. They just choose what they want, and they still want the algorithm to just do it for them, like it's supposed to know and predict what they want. Now that's how they're gonna get the chip in your brain, because now it's gonna be connected with your thoughts, and you won't even have to ask for it, and then you'll be a product of the government or something, right? Instead of a human. I don't know, but it knows my taste better than I do by now. See what I'm saying? If you haven't already, definitely go check out the video on this song, Not Man Made. You'll see cues to this all in the video. Sometimes I tell you guys stuff way before you know I'm even telling you anything. Um, Many of you are going to enjoy that opportunity once you realize what's going on. And more to come in the near future. I'll have some more material for you. So when AI and the robots took over so much of our work, we suddenly had time to eat well, sleep well, and spend time with other people. The concept of rush hour makes no sense anymore, since the work that we do can be done at any time. I don't really know if I would call it work anymore. It is more like thinking time, creation time, and development time. What was I saying earlier? You're surrounded by money, so it's really about your creativity. You see, I know a lot of people thought something was wrong with you because you've been in the house, you've been in your place for a minute, you've been putting that work in. They thought something was wrong with you. They was, why are you not out here enjoying, you know, this and that, and why are you not doing that? And oh, you don't even buy new clothes. Why don't you do this? Because you were working on your creativity. So when this all flips over, for the people that aren't getting this head start on it, like, you not on this channel, go ahead and share it with them. Go ahead and subscribe if this is your first time. Congratulations, you found us. Hit the notification bell. But it's going to be a lot of people that wake up one day and this is going to be all shock to them. So, for a while, everything was turned into entertainment, and people did not want to bother themselves with difficult issues. It was only at the last minute that we found out how to use all these new technologies for better purposes than just killing time. Now, remember the word, you know how we like etymology, so remember the word pagan means those who practice things basically outside of the city, which was at the time really focused on the religious activities in Rome, etc., right? So, look at this. They live different kinds of lives outside of the city. My biggest concern is all of the people who do not live in our city, those we lost on the way, those who decided that it became too much, all this technology. Those who felt obsolete and useless when robots and AI took over big parts of our jobs. See, this is going to be the thing here. This is why I'm trying to prepare you guys emotionally. This is why we don't have emotional attachments. This is why you got people in your life walking out on you on a relationship saying you're emotionally unavailable because they don't understand, right? They just went and bought that $120,000 car. They just went and bought that $300,000 house, and it's gonna be they have a perceived value in society because of that at the time, right? So when they switch over and you realize that you really do have all the money in the world, just like everybody else, their value is gonna go from being up here, appearing or feeling lofty, to being equal with you. They're gonna realize they're equal with you. And you're going to realize that you're equal with them in case you ever didn't know. And a lot of them are going to commit suicide. Literally. Because their whole superiority, their whole reason for breathing is going to have been ripped away from them. They will no longer have the loftiness that they once thought they had, which was all an illusion to begin with anyway. Because they're not going to be able to go and get another job to elevate themselves more than you can anymore. They're not going to have a position or a title that separates them from you any longer. Remember when they taught you in school that there was castles and monarchs in a kingdom, and they owned the kingdom, or the king or queen owned all the land, and you either were in the castle, in the city walls of the castle, or you were a serf working on the land, paying the king or queen rent, paying the kingdom rent. You own nothing, and you constantly paid rent for everything. And at any given time, basically, they could come and demand whatever they wanted from you because you were on their property. So those who felt obsolete and useless when robots and the AI took over big parts of their jobs, those who got upset with the political system and turned against it, they live different kinds of lives outside the city. Some have formed little self-supplying communities. Others just stayed in the empty and abandoned houses in the small 19th century villages. Once in a while I get annoyed about the fact that I have no real privacy, nowhere I can go and not be registered. I know that somewhere everything I do, think, and dream is recorded. I just hope that nobody will use it against me. All in all, it's a good life, much better than the path we were on, where it became so clear that we could not continue with the same old model of growth. We had all these terrible things happening, lifestyle diseases, climate change, refugee crisis, environmental degradation, completely congested cities, water pollution, air pollution, social unrest, and unemployment. It kind of sounds like 2020. We lost way too many people before we realized we could do things differently. So if this situation, the pandemic or anything else, this is what I'm getting at. I talk to people and I tell them, I'll be like, well, don't you realize that you take a lot of stuff for granted, and at any given moment, you pick the moment, especially the way we're set up in America, you're only 72 hours away from pure anarchy at any given point in time. When those store shelves run dry, you think the Capitol made news. Okay? Here's the thing. There's many ways that could happen. The climate change, no food, all the way up to natural disasters. But the point of the matter is, some things people may have some control over, some things you have absolutely no control over, but you're always only 72 hours away from complete anarchy. So if you saw the Capitol and you thought that was shocking, if you saw Black Lives Matter protests and you thought that turned into riots and you thought that was shocking, you haven't given any thought to anything. So what I'm getting at is, the world could change overnight. And what I want to encourage everybody to do that haven't got the idea or concept mentioned from me or anybody else to them in the past is to now realize now's the time to start working on yourself if you have not already. Get in your kitchen, find out what you can coin, find out what you can mint. Get you a system together to produce. The fun is over. If you haven't realized by now, if you were still having fun in 2019 all the time, if you were working to go to the club on the weekend, that life is over. At least for the immediate, or even if it comes back, this should have been a wake-up call for you to realize the benefit of ending that. And that's what YNet 7 is helping you guys out with in many different ways. It starts with the emotional control and other stuff that we talk about here on this channel. So I'm Pasha Pyro. I want you to know that you're surrounded by money. I want to see you all converted into cash flow. Get the currency. Be like water, my friend. Pasha Pyro, YNet 7. Thank you for tuning. The replay.